Hi boys and girls. In this video, I'm going to be doing today's math lesson with you. Now, in your math book, we are actually going to be going backwards a couple of chapters. I told you earlier in my intro video for today that when we first started distance learning, Mrs. Hatkoff and I thought that it was important that we do a couple of chapters that we thought were going to be really easy for you to work through. That way you could get used to at-home learning before we dove into some more challenging content. Now, that doesn't mean that this is going to be hard or difficult. It's just going to take a little bit more time for you to work through some of the problems. But we will start easy and we will build upon that as we always do in math. I always tell you if something is easy for you, it doesn't mean it doesn't have value. If it is easy, it means you're good at it. So as we go through this chapter, if there are things that feel easy to you, that's good. That means you're good at it. If there are things that aren't exactly easy, maybe a little more challenging for you, that's good too, because it gives you something to learn and practice. Remember, our brains are muscles, and just like we have to work out the muscles in our body to make them stronger, we have to use that muscle, our brain, to make it stronger as well. So before I dive into the book, I want to take a minute to just kind of do some reviewing of what we have learned about already in math that will lead into this chapter. So I want you to recall when we talk about tens and ones. For example, if I were to take the number 45, okay, we know that that number 45 has four tens, which I can draw as lines, so 10, 20, 30, 40, and it has five ones, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could say, show me 45 with tens and ones, and you could show me four tens and five ones, or I could say four tens and five ones is what number, and you could tell me 45. Before we went on our at-home learning break, we were doing addition with tens and ones, and we took that test actually right before our break. Now we are going to start looking at subtracting tens and ones. And so today's lesson will feel pretty easy because it's just the first step in this more challenging subtraction. So what we'll be looking at today is taking a number like 45 and then taking away a 10, okay? So 45 minus 10 and trying to figure out what does that equal. And if you recall, I showed you how we could line up. We could take our 45 and line it up minus 10, and then we start here and we take away. So 5 minus 0 is 5, and 4 minus 1 is 3 to give us 35 for our answer, okay? Now, another way to look at this, or another way to think about this, is if I look at the ones I've drawn out here, 4 tens, 5 ones. If I'm taking away a 10, then I just simply take away a 10, and now I have 3 tens, 5 ones, or 35. Okay, so in our math books today, we're going to be looking at taking away 10. So let me pull up our math page for today. Okay, and let's continue going through here and practicing that taking away 10. So our example here says Kyle scored 84 points bowling. Lucy scored 10 less. So how many points did Lucy score? It says you can find 10 less by using mental math. Okay, so if we have 84, we know that that is 8 tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. That is 8 tens and 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, if I were to take away one of those tens, I'm going to erase one here. Now I have 4, 5, 6, 7 tens, but I still have 4 ones. So 84, take away a 10 would be 74. And that's what they mean when they say use that mental math, is just count back a 10. We're not touching the ones in this lesson. So let's look here now. It says, using your mental math, circle the number that is 10 less. So looking at number 1, they had the number 45. Okay, so that was 45. They kept the 5 because we're not changing anything about our ones, and they counted back. 10 less or take away a 10 would be 35. So they circled 35 for that one. All right, so now looking at number 2, there's 51. Okay, so the number 51, that's 5 tens and 1 1. If we take away a 10, we would have 4 tens and 1 1. So you should circle 41. I think you might remember when we were doing the add a 10, you guys were like, oh, we get it. This is easy. So for the rest of these, if you want to just hit pause on the video right now and go through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and circle the number that is 10 less. Okay, so number 3, you have 76. Well, take away a 10 would be 66. Okay, and they want you to use that mental math. So think, what would 10 less be? All you're doing is taking away a 10. So go ahead and pause, do those problems, and when you're ready to turn the page, you can unpause and we'll continue. Okay? All right, so now we are going to look at the top of the next page here. It says use mental math and write the number that is 10 less. Remember, mental math means that we're just in our brains, in our minds, figuring out the answers. We don't have to write anything down. Okay, so 10 less than each of these numbers. So the first one, they gave you the number 83, and they said, what would 10 less than 83 be? Well, if we take away a 10, instead of 8 tens, we would have 7 tens, and we leave our ones alone because we're not messing with the ones here, so they put it would be 73. Okay, the next one, they have the number 65. So if we have 6 tens and 5 ones, if we took away a 10, we would have 5 tens and 5 ones. All right, number 15, they have the number 41. So we can think about that as 4 tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1, 1. If we were to take away a 10, goodbye, now I have 3 tens and 1, 1. Okay? Looking at number 16 through 18, it says use mental math and match each number to the number that is 10 less. So they've shown you right here it was 87. Well, take away a 10 would be 77. So they drew that line. You can go ahead and trace that. Number 16, we have 98. All right, so if I were to write that down here, 98, 9 tens, 8 ones. If I take away a 10, it would give me 8 tens, 8 ones. So your 98 should connect over here to 88. And that means that this last one's kind of a gimme, but let's make sure 7 tens, take away a 10 would be 6 tens. So we'd go right across here. So 78, 10 less would be 68. I hope that you're feeling like, oh yeah, this is easy. I remember doing this with adding a 10 because if this is feeling easy to you right now, then you're going to do great as we move on in the next couple days. So number 19 says Noah scores 37 points. Luke scores 10 less points than Noah. Justin scores 10 less points than Luke. Okay, so let's start out by putting Noah's points on here. Noah has 37, so I'll put that here. That's 37. All right, so that's 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it says Luke scores 10 less. Okay, so 10 less would mean I would take away a 10, so it would be 27. And then it says Justin scores 10 less than Luke. So if now I take away another 10 because it's 10 less than Luke, now I only have 1 10 and 7 ones. So the question asks, how many points does Justin score? Well, 17, because 10 less than 37 was 27, and 10 less than 27 was 17. We didn't change our ones. The ones stayed the same. We took away a 10 each time. Okay? All right, number 20 says, tell how to use mental math to find the number that is 10 less than 22. You can use your own words to explain that 22 is 2 10s and 2 1s, and we take away one of those 10s, so we would have 1 10 and 2 1s. Okay? All right. I think you should be able to, on the next page here, very quickly go through the mental math, circle the one that is 10 less. Remember, we are subtracting, so it's always 10 less on this page, not 10 more. Then do the same thing here where you match up the one that is 10 less. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to do great on this. And then on the back of that page here, it says use mental math, write the numbers that are 10 less. So you'll go through for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 and just write the number that is 10 less, or take away a 10 from each of those. And I will go through this number 7 with you right now, because that one you might need a little more explaining. The other ones I think you'll be able to do on your own. So you can either pause, do them, and then come back, or you can just, at the end of this video, go back and do them. However you want to do it is fine. So number 7 says Jessica has 22 coins. So I'm going to put right here 22. That's 2 10s and 2 1s. Okay, that's Jessica's coins. 10, 20, 1, 2. It says Jill has 10 less coins. All right, so 10 less, we'll take away a 10, so that's 1 10 and 2 1s. Okay, so this is Jill. And then it says Leah has 10 less than Jill. So now if this is Jill, I'm going to take away another 10. So now, guess what, boys and girls? I don't have any 10s left, but I still have 2 1s. Okay, so how many coins does Leah have? She only has 2. Okay? So our 1s never changed. We always had 2 1s. It was our 10s that changed from 2 to 1 to 0. But we don't write 0, 2. We can just write it as 2. Okay? Number 8 says Maxwell writes the number 24 and a number that is 10 less on a piece of paper. Okay? What number is... I'm sorry, what number did he write with 24? Write the number that's 10 less right here. So it's 24, take away a 10. And then the write about it says Zoe's mother makes 25 muffins. After the bake sale, she has 10 left. 10 less muffins. So how many muffins are left? So take 25, take away a 10, and then tell me how you know how many are left. I think you should be able to work through those problems now on your own. If you have questions, reach out to me. I'm here for you. Don't forget what we have been learning since before we were even at distance learning, stay-at-home learning. We're taking away 10s. So always remember, whatever your number is, write it out in 10s and 1s. So there's 4 10s and 5 1s, and we know that's 45. And then for taking away 10s, you just start crossing off the 10s and you go down each time. Okay? You guys have got this. I believe in you. Work hard, do great. We'll see you later.